Welcome to DrillDown Dialogue. This is our first episode. I'm Stephen Nance. I'm a CPA and Vice President at DrillDown Solution. And we wanted to start this regular webinar where we feature guests that have expertise in the dental industry or the overall business community. Our mission at DrillDown Solution is to increase wealth and freedom for our clients. And we thought this is a great way to do that. We have so many contacts in the dental community and the business community that we wanted to bring to you as either our clients or people that we have connections with, and offer this as a value to what we do and what you may or may not need in your practice or in your business. Our guest today, we were joined by Paul Lowry from Dental Menu, and I'll let Paul introduce himself in a minute, but I just want to say I've had several interactions with Paul over the years being in the dental industry and the dental space, and we're both in Utah. And I've got to say, Paul is one of the most genuine people. There's everyone's making a living at what they do, right? And of course we're trying to be profitable in our businesses and things like that. And you get a sense with some people that just are so hyper focused on the money part of things. And this is coming from an accountant that is focused on the money. But Paul is obviously trying to make a living, but he cares. He cares about the people he works with, and also just people. I've just gotten that sense, Paul, as I've talked to you at various events and things like that, that you're just genuine, sincere, just a good guy. So I'm really happy to have you on the webinar today. Paul, why don't we just start? Tell us a little bit about you, your background, how you got into this space, and a little bit about what Dental Menu is.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks. You got me all tongue-tied there, saying so many nice things about me. No, so I was doing marketing for dentists for years, a ton of direct mail, a ton of new patient generation. And so those you guys probably seen on the vendor side, you kind of get sucked into dental a little bit because it's a good space. There's a lot of good people and there's a lot of areas where you can help out. And so we were tracking new patients as they were coming into practices, and we were tracking what happened once they were in the practice, what did they do while they were in there, and then how long did they stay. And we started noticing some trends, Steve. Like, first off, I was pretty new to the dental spaces back in 2008, when I was first starting to do things, 2009. And there's a lot of complaining about insurance and, hey, can I get more new patients? I want more new patients without dental insurance, which I was like, how come? And I heard a lot of bad words about insurances, insurance companies, and reimbursement rates and all those good
Yeah.
things.
And that was
But
in
what
2008 when reimbursement rates might have meant something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they haven't went up really. So really, we did a big study on a bunch of patients, 250,000 new patients that were into these practices. And this was our own study we did. These were with clients that we had been working with for years and years. So this wasn't a third-party number. I did a lot of the actual digging into the data and looking at the data. And what was interesting is we looked at their first visit date into a practice, and then we looked 5 years later to see what the activity rate was with those patients. And what we found was, and again, you got to remember, these are new patients that came through external marketing efforts. These weren't referrals
Okay.
or, things like that. So these were just brand new patients that come in from external marketing, which that's a different kind of a patient. We looked 5 years later to see how many of them were still coming back. Only 12% of the patients that didn't have dental insurance were still active in the practice, versus 64% of the ones that were generated with dental insurance were still coming back on a regular basis.
Okay.
So, you're losing 88%, almost 9 out of 10 new patients that come through that practice don't stick. And so I was a little perplexed, when you're looking at the data, it's like, well, you say you want more patients without dental insurance, but the retention is horrible on them. Does that really ROI for you long term? Because I call it the marketing cocaine. They're paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for external marketing to make sure they have enough new patients flowing through, which is great if you're a marketing guy and you're like, yeah, you'll pay me $3,500 a month for the rest of your life, but
Yeah.
it was just a little perplexing. So we did a deeper dive. That's how we got into membership plans. Most of the offices we were working with had their own membership plan. It was their own do-it-yourself membership plan. And so obviously it wasn't working long-term. And so that's kind of how we got into the space, is initially, how do we solve this retention problem? And the more we got into it, the more we're like, hey, there's a bigger problem that needs to be solved. And that's how Dental Menu kind of came about.
Okay. Cool. So let's talk more about membership plans. And so that's the history of kind of how they came up. Were many people using membership plans before this, or
So I mean, we've been around, what, 7 years or so, and so it was definitely a newer concept 7, 8 years ago. Now it's pretty mainstream. I would
right?
say, I mean, the majority of clients that buy our services now have their own plan, or they're using a competitor, or they already know about them. They know they want to do one. 7 years ago, it was like maybe half had a plan, if that, and
Yeah.
and they were kind of more new and stuff like that. So they're definitely, my guess is most people listening know what a membership plan is,
Yeah.
and that's great. And like I say, most of the people we help have a membership plan. Like, we do some seminars and stuff about why your membership plan sucks, because a lot of them we see, like the data we were doing, most of them had their own membership plan, but their retention was still 12% 5 years later.
Yeah.
So obviously it wasn't working.
And I'll just point out that from a marketing company perspective, they like to point out the lifetime value of the patients that they're bringing in,
Yeah,
because that makes them,
should be.
well, yeah. And truthfully, if a patient is a long-term patient and they have dental needs, that the lifetime value is can be incredible, and that makes marketing companies look good. But if that patient isn't sticking around, there really isn't that lifetime value that they're projecting. It's, it may
Yeah.
be just that first visit, even in a lot of instances, I would assume. So we're in a world now where everyone knows about membership plans. Most practices have them. What types of these membership plans do you see? Do they come in all different shapes and sizes?
Yeah, they definitely do. And so really what we saw is, and when we look at the different plans out there, there's really two buckets. There's a membership plan, a true membership plan, and then there's a discount style plan. Most
Okay.
people running their own plan as kind of a discount style plan. So we like to use the analogy, Steve, of hunting versus farming. So if
Hmm.
you think of a hunter, he chases after his quarry. He gets a big game animal to eat. So he processes. He's really happy. He's got a whole bunch of meat, whether it's a buffalo or a woolly mammoth or whatever it is. But once he's consumed that, he's got to go back out and he's got to keep hunting. And so, the herds move around and hunting's kind of nomadic, and you're always chasing all the time. And it's not like you're storing a bunch of food or anything like that. And so that's what we see a lot with the cash pays. It's a lot of hunting and or marketing. I'm sure you've seen on P&Ls and stuff, these big, line items for marketing, and they can get pretty expensive and pretty big. And so when you look year over year, I mean, you'd have to tell me what you see on the financials, but a lot of times it's like, we've had this big outlay for marketing, but
Yep.
your overall practice is just eking up, And so then
Yeah.
a lot of times what we see from CPAs is like, well, hey, your marketing budget's out of control. You should cut some of that marketing back. And then of course, marketing guys are like, oh, you're a dumb CPA. He's telling you
Yeah.
to cut marketing, and that's the worst thing you can do. Both sides are true to a degree,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yep.
basically, when you don't want to hunt anymore, you say, hey, you know what? That's dumb. I want to be a farmer. And you build a fence around your herd, and now you get natural predictive harvest. You still have to farm. So there is things you have to do to get the predictive harvest. You can't plant corn and never water it, never weed it, and expect corn to grow. But if you plant corn and you follow some specific things, you're going to eat corn. So the hygiene department in your practice is kind of like your farm. So the patients that come through hygiene on a regular basis, guess what? You get natural predictive treatment from them because their teeth break down over time. And so what we see is the cash pay patients is a lot of hunting. I go do marketing. This guy's in pain. He comes in. I get a big treatment case. It's a real boon to my monthly P&L because I did 4 emergencies, and they were all $3,000 to $8,000, and we didn't write any off at the insurance company. We got paid at time of service, and it's like, holy cow, that was amazing. How do we do that again? And how do we do that again? Well, that gets pretty exhausting because you're constantly having to market. So your marketing budget's actually going to increase in order to maintain that, because how are you going to get those cases? And so meanwhile, your hygiene department is full of in-network PPO patients because they have a prepaid benefit of an exam, x-rays, cleaning. That's essentially free. If you want to see something interesting, go look at your pre-appointment rate and go look at your hygiene numbers for insured versus uninsured patients. I pulled some, we were up at that dentist advisor show, and we had some people come in to a lunch and learn. And so we pulled some numbers for them, and it was a small group. It's like 6 offices, and they're in network, PPO in network. And they were between 10 and 20% of their patients were cash pay. So very heavy in network. But the crazy thing is, Steve, is only 2.8% of their recare hygiene visits were with uninsured patients in the previous 18 months. So less than 3% of their patients coming in for hygiene were cash pay. So think about this, doctor. What do you do all day long? You run from chair to chair to chair to chair, seeing what? Patients that are there that need stuff for exams. Well, how many of the exams from chair to chair to chair are you running to that are also there for hygiene? It's a high percentage of those. So if the majority of your patients that are in hygiene have insurance, the majority of your treatment, it's going to be insurance patients, because that's who's coming through. And so you just have to think about your farm. I get complaints that I don't want to eat pork and I don't want to eat corn. I want peaches and beef. But if you really look at what you're farming, a lot of times it's in network insurance patients. And so until you actually change that farm, you can have your own discount style plan and you can close treatment at a higher rate, but you didn't really change the farm long term. And that's where, when you're looking at the P&Ls, sometimes that can be hard if you're not looking at the next layer of, like, we had a really good quarter, and then you had a bad quarter, and then you had a good month, and you had a bad month, and what's going on with all your expenses. And so as you tie it together, it's like, oh, this insurance is dictating a lot of what you're harvesting on a natural, consistent basis. And then you've got this supplement of uninsured patients. You got to figure out how to even that out.
And what are some of those ways that you're able to even that out?
Yeah. So obviously we're talking membership plans, So when you look at discounts versus membership, and we look outside of dentistry, because we get really weird in dentistry. So let's just see what's successful from a business standpoint. If you look at Groupons, coupons, those fundraising cards that high schoolers come knock on your door and they sell you a card for $30 for the football fundraiser and you get discounts. Those are discount style things. Whereas if you look at membership plans, so when you buy a Groupon, it's like, hey, how do we get a better deal? We just took Ed came ziplining to Sundance with us, and it's like, well, hey, I'm going to bring a group of 10. Can I pre-buy? Can I figure out how to get a discount, right? And so we bought some passes at a discount because we were bringing a big group. That's different than buying a season pass to a resort that I go to on a regular basis. And that's my resort. That was a one and done transactional thing, and it was really fun. It was great, but I may or may not go back,
Yep.
And so if you look at Netflix or Amazon Prime or a gym membership, or there's the car washes that have popped up everywhere around here, why is it $25 for one wash or $30 for unlimited? Like, well, they're trying to get you on a membership plan. They want you to commit to their place versus just kind of washing whenever the heck you feel like it. And so Netflix doesn't call and say, Steve, did you like our content? You want to renew for another year, and we'll finance it monthly. By the way, we raised our prices and we don't have a lot of good content, and we noticed that you haven't turned the TV on for 5 months.
Yeah.
They charge you. Amazon Prime, if you look at the data, people spend a whole lot more on Amazon if they've got Amazon Prime than if they don't. Even though they're doing the free shipping and everything else, you just go order stuff without thinking about it if you're a Prime member.
Yeah.
So most offices have 2 cleanings, 2 exams, set of x-rays, 20% off for $350. It's really a Groupon discount style plan. New patients come in. If they've got treatment, they buy your plan, they're going to get those services, and then they may or may not renew day 366. If you're charging annually, they'll renew, but a lot of times they lapse in between. It's like, well, I'll buy it when I feel like it. If you sell access to care at intervals, kind of like insurance does. You get access to a cleaning at an interval every 6 months or every 3 months or whatever that is. And you just run it like a membership plan. They come in, they see you, they get services, you pre-appoint them out. You don't ever renew them. It's just a subscription revenue. They get access to care at intervals. They get access to discounts. We run a rewards program. They get access to rewards and different things like that. But the idea is to get them in your ecosystem and keep them in the ecosystem consistently for years versus having a one and done Groupon where they buy it for a year, they're off it for 6-8 months, they're on it for a year, they're off it. Then they see a special from somebody else for 99 bucks. So they jump over there. Then they don't go to the dentist for 3 or 4 months. Then something hurts and their brother says, go to my guy, he's great. Like, we're trying to get away from that.
So is it better to charge the membership fee on a monthly consistent basis than an annual prepay?
I mean, so I would say the short answer is charge patients how they want to pay.
Okay.
And so a lot of patients want to pay monthly because that fits their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Older patients don't like paying monthly. They think they're financing something. So at a high level, like how does a patient want to pay you? How does it fit in their budget? There's a reason, most software companies and utilities and like all the stuff we consume, there's a reason most of them are monthly because that's what fits in our budget. And so we continue to buy the service. If they're on monthly payment options, and again, I want to be very clear, it's access to care. So you're not financing your exam cleaning x-rays. That's not what it is. It's not a payment plan. It's a subscription to your practice for services. And so again, you don't think of it as a financing program. If they're on monthlies, we're seeing that they're staying on the plans on average 17 months longer than the annual, and the renewal rate is much higher as well. So you're going to want to offer monthlies, but that does open up some challenges. If you're going to do monthly, Steve, we really highly recommend doing a one-time enrollment fee. A lot of offices are doing like $99 new patient exam cleaning x-ray specials or free exam and x-rays or these different things. Or they're not doing those specials and they're like, well, it's 389 bucks when you come in for your comp exam if you're a new patient for all those things, which is also difficult because it's like, well, I'm not real excited for me, my wife, and 3 of my kids to come pay you almost 400 bucks a head to get an exam cleaning x-rays when nothing hurts. So guess what? I'm not going to be very consistent. Yeah. I'm not going to jump around. I'm not going to be loyal. So what we recommend doing is having an enrollment fee, say it's around 99 bucks. The patient comes in, the conversation is basically like, hey, Steve, we got a couple options for you. We love our patients without insurance. Thank you so much for coming. You can either pay for your exam cleaning x-rays today. That's 199 bucks, or it's 299 or whatever that fee is. But really our best value is to sign up for our membership plan. It's a $99 enrollment fee. That'll give you your exam cleaning x-rays today. And then it's 31 bucks moving forward. And so you're going to start charging them, but get enough on the enrollment fee to cover your first initial exam cleaning x-rays. That's kind of your new patient special, so that the patient's basically prepaying you for the next set of services. You're not in arrears from day one. So if you're willing to do a exam cleaning x-rays for 99, 149, 199, make that be your enrollment fee plus your first month, and then have a higher price if they want to be a transactional patient. Don't, like, sometimes we see people that it's like, yeah, my membership plan's $99 enrollment fee, or it's 350 bucks annually. But then they have well, hey, it's 49 bucks for uninsured patients to get exam cleaning x-rays. It's like, well, you're competing with your membership plan. It's a better deal not to commit. It'd be like the car wash saying, hey, Steve, it's $30 for unlimited washes, or it's $5 whenever you feel like coming in. You're like, well, I think I'll just kind of pay when I want.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're not going in 6 times that month. So it's always going to be a better deal not to join the membership plan.
Right.
And then you see a different competitor that's like, oh, I'm actually closer to theirs and they're only $6. I'll just go there because it's convenient today.
Yeah. Yeah. So is the main distinction between a discount plan and a membership plan how it's presented, in that it's access to services and care versus it covers 2 cleanings and you're done?
Yeah, I mean, it's how it's presented, but also how it's structured. So if it's a one-time purchase for a group of services, that's not a membership plan. That's a discount Groupon style. If it's ongoing care and access to care, but where, again, it's different is most offices running their own, and the practice management software, and do you guys have dental insurance? Do you guys on a membership plan for Drill Down?
I hesitate to say this, but we have dental insurance.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm embarrassed to say that.
Well,
I
I'm
have
not going to
dental
judge. I'm
insurance.
not going to judge. So, basically, if you think about when you run a discount plan, how they're running it in the practice management software is, did they get their first cleaning, did they get their second cleaning? A lot of them will be like, hey, Steve, you paid $350 today. That covers your first cleaning. Your next cleaning is going to be free. Patient comes in, it's like, hey, your cleaning today is free. And now next time when you come back in, you're going to be due to pay the membership plan again. A membership plan is access to care at intervals, but if I'm due for a cleaning on August 14th, and on August 13th, I call and I say, hey, you know what? My son, he's got this school thing and I've got to go to it. I can't come to my cleaning tomorrow. And then it's like, okay, well, when do you want your cleaning? Well, I've got to have a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Well, my next Tuesday morning isn't until October 5th. Okay, I'll take it. Well, you're still going to get the revenue in August and in September. When you see them in October, you'll see them, but it's not like they have a voucher for another cleaning in 4 months because their annual plan is going to expire. You just pre-appoint them out 6 more months and the program runs.
Okay.
So really the difference is the continuity, but also access to care at intervals instead of a bundle of services. That's really the big difference.
Okay. Interesting. So one potential issue that I know has been a question is how do practices account for their membership plan revenue?
Oh yeah, and you guys probably see that a fair bit. So
I'll just from my perspective, we're usually showing things on a cash basis. So as it hits the bank account, that's revenue, but that's different from how it's accounted for in the practice management software.
Yeah.
Management software.
Do they have access if I share my screen? This is a big topic, and with you guys being in the accounting space, you guys should be accounting for it, right? Okay, let me just share this. I think this will be helpful. So what most people that are running their own plan that they're doing, Steve, you've probably seen this. So if you're charging monthly or annual, patient pays their fee for their membership plan, it's going to hit the bank account. So as soon as money hits the bank account, that's a payment. And so, if you get $30 from Steve here, then you're like, okay, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add it to the ledger, right? Steve paid us $30 and you're going to record that as revenue on the ledger. Well, now there's a balance or a credit on the patient ledger, which is a big no-no. So if they're keeping these on as credits, you should not be doing that because they can't use it for fillings, crowns. It's not they can't get a refund for it or anything else. So what most offices do is they create a fake procedure code called membership plan, and they'll come and make a 9826 code or 999 code, and they'll apply that fake production against the collection to bring the balance back down to zero. Kind of follow me so far?
Yep.
Well, then the challenge is when a patient comes in, they actually get included services, exams, x-rays, cleaning. There's real production. So this might have happened in, August, and then in February, they come get their services. And so you actually were open, you had your operatory going, you had your hygiene, you're paying your hygienist, you have all your overhead attributed with that visit, which only happens maybe every 6 months, right? Or x-rays once a year. And so what happens over here is there's a balance on the patient ledger. You have to adjust the collections off almost as bad debt to bring the balance back down to zero because these are free for a patient because they're included. Like, you're a CPA. Why is this bad, Steve? What does it do?
Well, that just the whole thing is wrong.
Why?
Because you're showing that there was this production that was written off. It wasn't written off. It was paid for through the membership plan. So initially with that $30, initially you created a procedure that was $30 and you showed zero balance. There wasn't $30 of production yet. This was that's the first error. And when these procedures were done and there was real production, and then it's showing as written off, it wasn't written off. That was through the membership plan. So it just creates anything any report that you're pulling from the PMS system on this is just not going to show accurate information.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so we see all kinds of variations. We see some people that put the $30 credit on, the next month's another 30, now it's at 60, then it's at 90, then it's at 120. So this balance, credit balance just keeps going up. So then when they receive services, they can apply it to that. But we see so many mistakes with credit balances getting applied wrong, as well as it's not a credit balance. That's a financing program, right?
Mhm.
That's not what this is. It's access to care. We see the other side where they'll put production $350 for our annual membership plan as a receivable. And so they sell 10 of those, their receivables are really high, and then they sit there and pay off that balance, so it brings it back to balance, there, which is also not accurate when you're talking about access to care as a membership plan. The third thing that we see is, hey, well, I'm just not going to put the $30 on the patient ledger, so I don't have to do this here.
Mhm.
I'm just going to accept the revenue as membership revenue. I'll just put it straight into my bank account, into my QuickBooks. And then when services come in here, I'll either adjust them off, or I'll just have the production be zero and collections be zero, so that I just have zeros all the way around. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't do this top part, we've caught office managers, we've caught fraud, Steve, because
Mm.
how do you really know what's going on? And if I throw my brother on the plan, I'm working front desk, and it's just like, well, those are all zeros because there's no money being matched up with it, which is, fraud 101 is you got to have the right paper trail to make sure that either
Mhm.
fraud or mistakes, either one, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
there is no paper trail if you don't do this top part. So this is a big problem, and we're spending more time on it because usually I don't have a CPA on that might geek out on it like me. So the other way to run it, which we do with most of our clients, is we set up a separate merchant account for this practice. So the practice owns the account, but what happens is as payments are being made, they go through the merchant account, but we have the merchant account hold the money because it's unearned revenue. So the practice
Mhm.
still has it. It's still an asset on the balance sheet and all that good stuff. And you can talk through cash basis and accrual and how you want to run
Yep.
the balance sheet. But we don't release the funds to the operating bank account yet because you haven't done an exam cleaning x-rays. So you don't have $30 hit your bank account. Think of having 100 patients paying you $30 a month. You have 100 micro deposits you're dealing with. That also sucks. So
Okay.
the
Okay.
revenue accrues in this account, but you don't have an entry here. And then when you do an exam cleaning x-rays, you walk the patient out. We've got integrations with a lot of the practice management softwares, or you can do them on your own, but it'll create a balance in the practice management software. So Dentrix, Open Dental, EagleSoft will show, hey, production was done. And then
Mhm.
we see that with the integration, and we will automatically ping this account, and we'll transfer revenue. There's one step in the software, which, I don't want to get too much into software, but you hit this transfer funds button. So you
Mhm.
hit this button, anybody that's been walked out of the software is going to show up, and you say, yeah, I want to be paid. And then what happens is it transfers money from your membership account. It'll actually give you an EFT transfer to your operating bank account. So you'll get a deposit into your bank account. You'll get an explanation of payment. Here's the patient, here's the service, here's the provider, here's how you need to break up the deposit. But you'll have a bank statement deposit, and then you'll actually enter collections to offset production. So your daily bank statement deposits are going to match your daily collections, daily production in your practice
Okay.
management software. All your provider pay is going to work. All your KPIs you're pulling out of your software are going to work. Everything's going to work the way it should, so that you're not writing things off. You're recognizing the revenue when you actually saw the service, so it transfers it across when you see the patient.
Got it. So what happens when you've accumulated all this money in the practice membership account, and you're for the dental practice, the value is that you're
Yeah, you'll
getting
get breakage
paid.
because they come in
So
late or things like that.
what's that?
Yeah, you'll get breakage because if they don't come in right on time, there's going to be extra money building in this account.
So when the dentist needs to pull money from that account and it's not at the time of service, um, what happens then if
So
they?
it's his merchant account. So he can log in at any time and trigger a payout just like you would with any other account
Yeah.
because he owns it. So even if he fired us, he still owns the account. It's his
Right.
asset.
Right.
So we run reports for them, Steve, that tell them how much money needs to be in here for future liability, basically, because we can see how
Okay.
many patients are on it, how much, they've paid into it, and what's kind of the future liability almost, if you will.
Okay.
But if you're running like 100 patients, they're paying you $35 a month. We're seeing between $5,000 and $6,000 is extra in this account. They're going to pull that out as a dividend, basically, or as profit. That won't go towards collection production. It's
Yeah.
just going to go as a line item as profit for the account, or they can put it into an investment. It's their money.
And on the other side, let's say someone paid $30 for their initial
Yeah.
first month,
Yeah.
um, and then they want to take care of their exam, their X-ray, their cleaning right away. There's not that that full balance in that membership revenue account. What happens then?
Correct. So like part of the magic is when we do the onboarding, you can charge whatever you want, but we're going to actually have them set up these reimbursement amounts, if you will. So you'll notice as this changes, the price changes. So if you want to charge 28 a month, these are your reimbursements. You can do whatever you want, but we're going to actually have the pricing match up the reimbursements so that we
Okay,
have enough, like 33 times 12 equals this times two, this times two, this
got
times.
it. Okay,
So
okay.
the initial visit when they get all their services up front is there's not going to be enough money in there with your very first patient that pays the
Yeah,
enrollment. And
yeah.
so there's a couple things you can do. Most offices just wait to do their first claims till they've got a few patients going. Some offices charge more on the enrollment fee, so the money is there. Some offices are like, well, on the initial new patient exam cleaning x-rays, we're going to write off the exam and the x-rays just as like a marketing expense. But if you do that, your write-off's going to be like marketing expense or something that you are
Mm.
actually writing it off. You didn't collect, so it's a real write-off. It's an expense. So you could
Mm.
see at the end of the year, like, well, hey, we wrote off, $1,800 to kind of get our membership plan going. That was an investment, but now we're good to go. So once it usually takes 2 to 3 months of kind of as people coming in, but because we factor enough revenue going in, like it just all works after that because you have enough coming in to go out. And obviously there's breakage and things like that.
Cool. Yeah, that's very interesting to me.
Yeah. You,
So,
you probably like it, but I mean, it is a big issue. Part of the issue when you said, well, what's the difference? To sell access to care at intervals, you have to keep track of benefit usage, benefit
right.
eligibility, and payouts when services are used. So what I just showed in that triangle, it would be pretty difficult to do without our software. And
Yeah.
so, it's kind of like, well, you're forced to sell annual discount plan if you're doing it yourself because sometimes it can get too complex. And so it's like, well, if you use a software but it handles the complexities and allows you to make a lot more money, that's the value of the software. Otherwise, just do it yourself, but you're losing,
Yeah.
on money.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah. So another question, we're seeing a lot of inflation in our economy in the last few years and uncertainty around that in the future with tariffs and things like that.
Yeah.
Dental practices all around are trying to be more profitable. They're trying to keep more of what they earn. Are there good ways for them to be able to increase the revenue or what they're charging for their membership plans uh, without alienating patients or without losing patients?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great question because it's always that, man, I feel like I keep raising my fees, but I need to. So couple things you can do. One is charge monthly. So you think of an increase of $2 or $3 a month or $1 a month. That doesn't really matter much to patients,
Yeah.
but $50 a year, it's like, well, I want to do it, but I'll wait 3 months till I buy it, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
The second thing you can do is sell add-on benefits. So a lot of offices include fluoride, they include emergency exams, emergency x-rays, maybe nitrous and things like that, which are all great to include. But people don't buy your membership plan because it includes fluoride. I had an office the other day, and there's a lot of controversial stuff going around about fluoride now, and RFK is pushing hard against things. And I had an office say, "Man, fluoride's a problem because some of our patients now say, well, can I get a discount if I don't get the fluoride?" And it's like, well, we're just kind of throwing that in there, and now I got to
Yeah.
get a discount. So
Yeah.
if you kept your price the same, you pulled fluoride out, you pulled emergency services out, and those were upgrades. You can sell most people fluoride or present fluoride, and if it's $2 or $3 or $4 a month, they add that to their plan. They're choosing to increase the price of the plan. So if you're at $31 a month and you don't increase your plan this year, you simply say, well, it doesn't include fluoride, it doesn't include emergency exams or panel 3D or any and all needed x-rays, or we've got guys doing Botox and whitening and mirror upgrades and whatever you've got that you could sell in a subscription, sell that, but you don't need to include it all. So if you include it all, now your price might be 38 or 40 or 42, and it might not be as marketable. So pill out some of those services. And then you can also do some things. I mentioned a rewards program. So a lot of offices are doing, 20, 25% discounts, which are great. And I'm all for the discounts. But we have seen offices really implement this rewards program, which the way the rewards program works is when a patient gets a cleaning on the plan, they earn 25 or 50, they can do whatever amount they want, but they earn rewards towards treatment that may be needed in the future. And so they're bringing their discount from 25 down to 20, or maybe 20 down to 15, but then they're giving them rewards that are earned over time, but those rewards are only good at the practice and they accrue over time. So it's kind of like, Steve, the longer you're with my practice, the bigger discount you're going to get. But if you stop, every time you stop, you're going to lose your rewards. So if you want to buy it for a year and go off it for a year, that's fine, but you just lost $50 of rewards.
Yeah.
And so they'll stay on it longer, but you also will get increased treatment acceptance, and you potentially could even go a little bit slimmer on your discount on treatment, which would increase your profitability as well. But you're like, well, hey, no, we're giving it back to you in rewards. And so, that tends to help with the profitability.
Okay. So how does a practice market their membership plans?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I was just barely talking to a marketing company today. We refer out external marketing to a couple companies, and membership plans help with marketing, but they help more with conversion and retention than they do with new patient generation.
Okay.
So when you're looking at uninsured patients, how do you get them off the couch? How do you get them to come in? If they're in pain, emergency, like that's the easiest. But when you get them in for the emergency, that hunt, how do you convert them into your farm? And that's what a membership plan does. You can do some things with like seniors and senior plans and senior discounts, like if you lose your benefits and things like that. But really, from a marketing standpoint, you should be coupling that with your external marketing to help with that conversion retention.
Okay. Do you see much backlash or reluctancy on the team to implement these membership plans? And if so, how do you combat that?
I mean, it's all over the board. Like if I can do a presentation with a doctor and an office manager, that's my number one. Yeah, I want to. Second is actually the office manager, and third is just the dentist because of how much on a membership plan you've got to have your office's buy-in, your team's buy-in. So I can get a doctor all day long to be like, hey, Paul, this sounds great. Let's do it. But who's talking to the patients? Who's presenting to the patients? Who's running the program? And that's going to be your team. And so if you're already running a plan and you're dealing with some of the accounting and the admin and the stuff I'm showing you, team might be all over it. But if you're doing a very, very simple discount plan, this is going to be more work for them than doing nothing. That like usually change means better for the practice, better for the patients. We're trying our best to make it better for the team. But if like doing nothing is usually easier than doing something, you definitely want to get your team behind it. We run some incentive programs, or we do gift cards. So when a patient signs up, they pay that enrollment fee, and some of that enrollment fee we will have come to us, and then we remit it. We remit all of it, but we remit it back to the team member that signed them up, or a couple of team members. So some of these front office people, they are like, oh man, I get 50, $100 every month from these guys, and so they're more motivated. You definitely want to get them on board. You can do trainings, you can do a pre-launch, talk to your team, involve them in the setup, have them be involved with everything is what you want to do for sure.
Cool. Well, I know there's a lot more you can say about membership
Yeah,
site?
I don't want to be long-winded. We should probably wrap it up.
So what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
So, I mean, you can just check out our website, dentalmenu.com. There's a button on there. There's a lot of educational videos, so you can go check those out. And then if you want to schedule a demo, there's a button on there. If you put, that you're from Drill Down, I'll see that and they can chat with me there. You can email me directly, paul@dentalmenu.com. And that's just paul@dentalmenu.com. Ask me whatever you want. We can jump on a call. We're very open, Steve, with our
Yeah.
education and stuff. So even if you're like, hey, I still want to run my plan, I got a few questions, like we're happy to help out any way we can. But yeah, just shoot me an email, check out the website, hit us up. We've got obviously a Facebook page and that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, it's been great talking with you, Paul, as always, and thank you very much for jumping on for our contacts and being a resource. So appreciate all you do for the industry.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.